I hate my job, so let's talk about it. So I've never really filmed a video like this at all, but it's gotten to the point where I just need to rant to someone or anyone or no one just because I need to get it out of my system for my own mental health. So a little bit about me. My name is Holly and I am 24 years old. I'm 25 this year and I currently work in customer service doing a 9 to 5. And by no means did I think this was going to be my dream job, but I honestly thought that moving from my previous job to this one was going to make me so happy. It was going to make my life turn around. I thought I was going to be fulfilled. And unfortunately, this job did not do that for me. If anything, it has made me the most unhappiest I have ever been. So for a little bit of context, I did psychology at university, and I did that alongside part-time work in a bar, in a restaurant, and I actually loved working in a bar. I thought it was so fun, the tips were good, I worked with my friend, and you know, life was pretty good at that point. I didn't really have any responsibilities apart from turning up to work, getting my tips, and submitting my assessments for university. This point as well, in uni, I was also applying for my dream job, which I had wanted since I was honestly like 10 years old, and it was to work in Walt Disney World in Florida for the summer, and it was doing something called the Cultural Exchange Program. Even when I was just applying for the job, I can't explain how much purpose it gave me, knowing that I had something that I was working towards that I really loved and I really wanted to do with my whole heart. And I actually did get the job. However, COVID also got the job at the same time. So the day that I was meant to go to the US Embassy in London, the embassy actually shut because of COVID. And then unfortunately, the program did not go ahead because obviously it's international and everything was locked down. So then a couple of years went by, and unfortunately the eligibility I no longer met, and so I couldn't do the program. So that was really heart-wrenching that I'd worked so hard for years, you know, making sure that I knew what the job entailed, applying for it, traveling to London twice for the interviews, and then I get the job and then it gets taken away from me. But it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it would be. I kind of moved past that pretty quickly because I am lucky enough to have travelled to Disney World many times in my life, and you know, it would have been a once in a lifetime experience to work there, but I'm very lucky that I have been able to go a lot in my life. So after that, that is when I applied to a hospitality job in the Trafford Centre. If you are in the UK or in Manchester specifically, you will know how crazy Trafford Centre is, especially in hospitality. And so I got a job there. And when I first joined, I absolutely loved it. I made amazing friends. I made amazing like relationships with colleagues. And honestly, it was like my first real job because my other one was kind of like a small family owned, independently owned bar job where, you know, I wasn't through the books. Not like I was making enough to go through the books anyway, but this one was like my first real job where I'm getting taxed and everything like that. And I entered the real world and I loved it for a while. I did training all around the UK for different sites, so I got to kind of stay in different hotels, travel to different places, and it was a really fun time because I got to do it with now one of my best friends that I met while I was working there. But then it got to a point where I slowly worked my way up. So I was a team member, then I became a supervisor, then I became a trainer, then I became a manager, and it got to the point where 48 hours a week was not cutting it for me anymore. You know, the wage was good, but I had no life outside of that. So I decided to cut my hours down to part-time. Then I realised it actually wasn't the hours that were doing it. It was the fact that all of these amazing people had now left the job and I was kind of there by myself. Me and my friend got split up because she moved to a different Manchester store, and it just started to go downhill very fast. And I realised at that point that I really wanted something that wasn't finishing at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. I wasn't doing 12-hour shifts on my feet. I wasn't doing 48 hours a week in total minimum. Like, that was the minimum contracted hours. When you're a manager, you know you have to do a lot more than that. So that is when I realised, you know, maybe the 9 to 5 lifestyle is calling me. Trafford Centre itself, like I said before, it is crazy, especially when you work in hospitality. It is such a fast-paced environment, and I did love that and I do miss that. but the actual kind of hours and the work itself, I was not missing at all. So, you know, it got to the point where I needed to get out, and I decided that the 9 to 5 lifestyle will be it for me. Like, that is gonna cure all of my problems and blues. I'm gonna be able to start work at 9, finish at 5, have a healthy work-life balance. But in case I didn't like it, I started out doing part-time, 30 hours a week, so I work 4 days a week. And the 9 to 5 that I actually work in is customer service. So I currently work in a call center, and although it is a 9 to 5, there is some days where we do a Saturday. There's some days where we work till 8 p.m, which is considered like the late shift, which, I mean, for me in hospitality, that is an early shift. So those didn't really bother me. But the more I got into it, we did 6 weeks of training, and I did not mingle with anybody. Like, I was a lone ranger, and it probably made me look extremely rude, but I knew as soon as I got there, this is not the place that I want to be. And all I can say is thank God I started as part-time. I mean, I'm still part-time now, still doing the same contract, 30 hours a week, 4 days a week. But thank God I did that for myself, because if I didn't have this 3-day weekend, my mental well-being would just be down the toilet. I started this 9 to 5 in March 2023, which means that I have almost been there for a year. I will have been here a year next month, and I wish I could say it's gotten better with time, and I feel like I've definitely given it the time that it deserves to prove to me that it's not as bad as I've made out. But unfortunately, if anything, it's made me realise even more, 10 times more, that this job is not for me. I mean, in my previous hospitality job in Trafford Centre, I would get frustrated, yeah, I wouldn't want to come into work, yeah, but, you know, I always did, and it always wasn't as bad as it seemed. Whereas this job, I have cried endless amounts of times. I cannot explain to you how many times I've cried, and not even cried in a way of like shed a few tears, like, yeah, I'm a bit emotional. No, this is like boohoo crying. I cannot stop. My stomach is turned, my eyes are raw, my head is banging from the length of time that I am crying. Like, I would wake up in the morning, and I can feel it now in my throat, you know, when you get upset. I would wake up in the morning and I would physically feel sick at the thought of having to drive into work. And yeah, like, it makes me so upset to know that I'm making myself feel like this. Like, yeah, the job is making me feel like this, but the fact that I'm going and letting myself go through that, I just think, what the hell am I doing? Like, there is so much in this world, and the worst part is that I know exactly what I want to do, but I'm not at the point yet in my life where I can just leave my 9 to 5 and focus on that. And that is being content creation, like filming these videos. Like, I'm still really new to it, and I've been doing other things, and I think I just need to give it a little bit more time. But I hate that at the same time, because I feel like I'm not giving it enough of my energy and my resources, and my most precious resource, like my time and my existence in this world, I cannot give to it, because I'm giving 30 hours of the week to this job. And that's why I say I'm just so thankful that I didn't go into this job as full-time, because I am so lucky that I have these 3 days where I get to just focus on myself, focus on what I want to do, and focus on growing like my YouTube channel, my social media presence. And it's not like I want to be like a multi-millionaire with tens of millions of subscribers. Like, my goal is to just create a community of positive people that are interested in what I am interested in, that feel as though they can relate to me. And I feel like I'm getting there, but with everything, it takes time, and everything worth having doesn't come easy. Is that the saying? And I really don't know what to do for the best. I don't know what kind of outcome I'm hoping for from this video. I think it's just to get my emotions out and get all of my feelings on the table for myself, because I'm locked in this little mind all day long, and it's not pretty sometimes. But at this current moment in time, I am feeling extremely fortunate that actually in my 9 to 5 at the moment, I'm supporting a different team, and I can't say much about it because I work in insurance and customer service and everything's confidential, but I'm not on the phones at the moment in a way that I usually would be. So I'm on the phone at the moment supporting other colleagues with questions they have about this certain issue, whereas before I would be speaking to actual customers. And if you've ever done a call centre job, you will know just how demoralising that can be sometimes. I've been supporting this other team for almost 4 months now, and it was meant to be a 2-week thing. So I've been so happy that I haven't been on the phones. I haven't been having to deal with that dread. Like, I wouldn't go as far as to say that I enjoy going into work for this particular team, supporting them. They're a great team, and honestly, it's nothing to do with the company, which is why I feel like this. I feel like a lot of people, they don't like working somewhere because of the people, or because of the rules that are in place, or the regulations, or just how the team work and how the company works. This company that I work for, they are actually incredible. Like, they are so kind. Everyone there is so kind and everyone's so supportive. But it's just the job itself that is really taking its toll on my mental health. And I know there's so many bigger things going on in the world, but at the moment, in my world, this is what is giving me kind of the most dread and negative emotions, and I just really need to let it out. So yeah, the amount of dread that I feel just knowing that maybe in a month I'm gonna have to go on the phones, it actually makes me feel physically sick. But I just want you to know that if you're in a job that you hate, I feel you, and you are not alone. And I know that it is so horrible to wake up doing something that you absolutely hate, but I'm also so lucky that I have other hobbies like content creation that keep me going, and I know that at the end of a shift I can go and film a video or edit something, or you know, just fill in that void with something positive that I actually enjoy. And if I'm being honest, I really needed this job to push me in this way so that I actually pursued what I loved. I mean, when I started at this job, which was almost a year ago, so 11 months ago, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to pursue TikTok and social media, and I was too scared. And there was actually one girl who was in my training team when I started this 9 to 5, and she actually left to pursue social media. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, I just wish I had the confidence not only to do that, but to tell people I'm doing that. And that's when I really started on my TikTok and wanting to pursue social media, because I knew if they're doing it, why can't I? And if I know that I want to do it, why the hell am I sat here crying over something that I hate when there is something out there that I can do? I just have to put in the action and the effort to achieve it. So that's when I started my TikTok. I'm currently at 700 followers. I'll put my TikTok on the screen if you want to watch it. I sometimes get really overwhelmed with what to post, and random things do well, random things don't do well. So I'm still kind of figuring out what I want to do. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm really struggling and panicking with what to do next in my life. My dream more than anything right now, if I could tomorrow, and I mean I can do, it's just that I know I shouldn't do, is that I just want to quit this job and pursue content creation and social media. Wow, my eye. Until this is consistently making me what I make doing my 9 to 5, or at least like close to it, I don't feel mentally like I'd be able to leave and cope with that. And that is just me being completely honest. You know, I could quit my job tomorrow and I could pursue this full time, but I have no evidence that this is gonna, you know, uphold me, and I have no evidence that people want to watch me do things. And you know, I just need that for my own peace of mind before I'm able to leave the job that I hate. I know hate is such a very strong word, but it's the truth. I am sorry, it is the truth. The way this job has made me feel, the way I have cried over it non-stop to my managers, to colleagues, to my mum, to my dad, to my boyfriend, like, I have never done that. I am a very suffer in silence kind of person, and the fact that I have vocally let all of these people know that I hate this is just screaming to me that I am not meant to be doing this. But I am also at the same time really grateful that I have this to support me while I try and build social media and YouTube and TikTok and all the things like that, so that I can actually leave there one day and comfortably know that, you know, I've got this and I can do now what I've always wanted to do. And I'm just proud that like my confidence has grown over the last year, that I've been able to film videos like this. And you know, this is not going to be a perfect video, but I'm still going to upload it, I'm still going to edit it, and I'm still, you know, gonna carry on doing different things, because at this moment in time I'm just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. So it's a little bit hard, but yeah, I just need some, I don't know, I need some guidance, I need some input from you if you're going through this or have been through this. Like, what should I do? Should I wait it out until I know that I can do this and it's gonna look after me, or should I just bite the bullet and quit and see what happens and buy a one-way ticket to Barcelona and live my best Spanish life? Because I'm struggling and I don't know, I just need something from somebody, you know? I'm asking for help, really. I'm asking for advice. But if you have clicked on this video and you know that you hate your job too, just know that you're not alone. And the advice I'm going to give to you, which I should probably take myself, and I will take myself, is to find something you love and never stop doing it. And if you can, to monetize on that, because I think it's so important to have a hobby or just something that fills your time with something that you love, whether that's reading, whether it's going on coffee dates, whether it's doing social media, painting, sports. I have no idea, the list is endless. But find something that makes you happy and do that, and don't stop, and try as hard as you can to make that your thing so that you can do what you love for the rest of your life. Because I think what gets to me most is that I know that I want to work for myself. I've always wanted to work for myself. I've set up so many businesses that have failed, and that's because I didn't have the love for them, and I know that now, and I've learned from that, and I've got very valuable experience from that now. But I think I just hate the fact that I'm working for somebody else, I'm making them money, I'm getting a flat rate, and I know that's how it works, like you trade your time for money, but I also understand that you don't have to do that. And you know, I could be my own boss, I could control my own hours of work, my own workload, I could control when I go on holiday, when I see friends, when I see family. And it's what gets to me the most, because I hate that I have to ask somebody if I can go on holiday and they're like, yeah, you have 25 days this year. I mean, there's a whole 365 days in a year that, you know, I want to be in control of. But I am truly sorry if you hate your job too. We are in this boat together, and I'm pretty sure we can get out of it together as well. If you want to talk about it or anything, you know, you can message me or you can comment, or, you know, we can just go through this together, because it's a lonely world when you hate the job that you are working. So that is the end of my rant. Thank you for listening, and hopefully a year from now this will be a totally different story and we can forget this part of my life ever existed.